What's going on, guys? Today is an exciting day as we have finally received all the parts for our Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. So we're gonna get the stuff installed here. Let's take a look at what we got. So the first thing we got here is the GripTech 285 pulley. We also do have a 180-degree thermostat, and in here is some 1200cc fuel injector clinic injectors, along with a new green belt for the pulley setup here. So we ordered all the parts from Dusterhoff Tuning, and Kurt Dusterhoff is going to be doing all the tuning for our Trackhawk in just a couple days here. So I want to get the parts on and get it ready. We also do have to give a huge shout out to HPTuners, who hooked us up with an MPVI2 and a PCM unlock for the Trackhawk. So the Trackhawk was down for about a week while we sent the PCM out to get unlocked. The turnaround time was super quick. They had it unlocked in the same day, shipped back out next day. We received it 2 days later. So huge shout out to HPTuners for that. We really appreciate it. So this is gonna be pretty cool. Let's get these parts installed, and we're gonna be making some power pretty quick here, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by removing our cold air intake here. Just gonna give us a little bit more room to work. And then we're going to take the belts off. Next, we're gonna swap the thermostat out. Unbolt the supercharger, lift it up, pull the snout off, change the pulley here, put it back down, change the injectors, and that should be all there is to it. So I don't think this is gonna take too long. It should be fairly straightforward. So let's get right into it. So that's already opened up a ton of room here. The next thing I'm going to do actually is, let's remove our catch can and get that out of the way. I'm gonna take a look and see what this is caught in the last little bit here. That's a decent amount. That's why it's important to have a catch can there. You can see how much oil it's caught over the last month or so. I don't know if you guys can see that. So next I'm just going to pull the fittings for the hoses of the catch can off the supercharger snout and the passenger side valve cover here. And just like that, this is out of the way for now. So one thing you might notice is we don't have a crank pin kit. I was really on the fence about doing it or not. A few days ago I decided that yes, I am going to pin the crank. So I do have a crank pin kit coming, and it should be here in a few days, and then we're going to do that as well. So anyways, we're going to keep going at this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here is just remove some various vacuum hoses and electrical connectors around the supercharger, just so when we lift it up, we're not pulling on any wires or anything like that. So let's start with this guy here. These all come off really easily. You just slide the safety tab back and push the release and pull. Go. So the next thing I think I'm going to do here is just remove the blower hat itself. Then we'll keep digging down. So I've heard on the Trackhawk that you don't have to remove this windshield cowling here to get the blower up to take the snout off. So If you guys are wondering why I'm not doing that, I'm trying to get away with not doing it. So once we get the hat off here and start unbolting the actual supercharger itself, we'll get a pretty good idea. Okay, so it looks like you probably could get the hat bolts off the back if you had a small enough Torx bit set up, which I don't, so we're just going to remove the cowl here. It should be simple enough. There's two plastic pieces on each side and a rubber weather strip that goes over top. So I remove the weather strip and then the plastic pieces slide out. So now we've got the cowl here. We're just going to have to unbolt the wiper arms, and then there should be a couple bolts at the back that hold this part up to the firewall. Okay guys, so I shut the cover off for a little bit to save some battery while I was doing some rudimentary stuff. What I ended up doing was just pulling the whole cowl off instead of leaving it loosened. It's fairly easy. After you unbolt the wiper arms, all you have to do is just pretty much pull it away from the windshield and it'll come off. So the next thing we're going to have to do here is remove the wiper motor, and then we can get this piece out of the way to get to the rear bolts. So what I would recommend is this would be the first thing you would do when you start this process. I was trying to get by without removing it, but that's obviously not going to happen. So if you guys are doing it at home, I would recommend starting with the cowl and then work your way back. So let's get to it. Okay, so now that we've got this firewall thing up, we got the blower hat off by removing the last couple bolts, which is now going to allow us to get to these 3 bolts at the top and these 3 bolts at the bottom that hold the blower snout on. Now I found a good use for the stupid yellow plastic splitter guards that came with the Challenger, and they are holding the blower up so that I can get to the bolts underneath. So let's get this going here. And now that we got the hat off, we can remove the snout bolts. So actually, funny enough, I used the dumbass splitter guards from my old Challenger that I took off because I'm not stupid and that's what you're supposed to do. But I used them to hold up the supercharger here so I can get the bottom 3 bolts for the snout. Alright guys, so that is going to do it for this video, tearing down our Trackhawk to install the new performance parts. I'm going to get some cameras charged up here and then keep going, and we'll see you guys in the next video as we slap this thing back together.